Hi, Amy here, your WiFiLife.com, and in this video I wanted to discuss the topic of fear. Now, why this topic? Well, we see it coming up a lot in all these inspirational videos and a lot of people blogging or vlogging or on social media about talking about entrepreneurship or big entrepreneurs with big followings. And I was fortunate enough recently to meet someone that I can only describe as a young genius and heard a very inspirational speech, and this person happens to be 8 years old. And it's given me an entirely new take on the topic of fear that I haven't actually heard anybody use before in terms of an explanation or a discovery or an investigation into what we think and feel about fear. So I thought I'd share some insights from what, like I say, can only be described as a bit of a genius speech. And this speech was the homework assignment of a friend of mine called Grace Gibson. And she's the 8-year-old daughter of some very good friends of mine who I went to visit in Australia recently. I'd never met Grace before, but she was very kind and shared her speech with me. And I'm not going to go through her speech here. That's for her to do in her own video on what I hope will be her own YouTube channel of inspiration one day. But she was kind enough to give me a copy of this speech, broken down on some little cue cards, which I have kept in my purse ever since. And I posted the opening line, which was a quote that I took from this speech, on my Instagram account recently, and it got quite a bit of attention. So I thought I'd just explore the topic a little bit further. And it's interesting because it's been playing on my mind a lot ever since I heard Grace do her speech. And I had a very lengthy conversation with another entrepreneur friend of mine here in Thailand the other day for about 3 hours over a long, late lunch. So the opening line of this speech that Grace put together was, where would I be if fear didn't exist? And once my jaw had fallen on the floor and I'd picked it up again in disbelief that this 8-year-old was coming out with such profound wisdom, I listened to the rest of it. And she went on to explore what the opposite of fear might be, or what we may or may not do in life if we didn't have fear. And I just wanted to go into a bit more depth about the fact that, having spoken to various people and read various articles recently, fear is the foundation of absolutely everything we do. When you think about it, it's bizarre, because it's only out of a concept of learning fear that we come up with consequences or perceived consequences in our heads as to what might happen if we take a certain action. And 9 times out of 10 for a lot of people, that stops them taking that action in the first place. So in terms of what I do and what a lot of my friends and my new community do as a result of going into the world of entrepreneurship, fear is something that we find the majority of people allow to stop them from chasing after something of a dream, or taking a step out of their comfort zone in terms of maybe changing jobs or leaving their job, or in the romantic world, it stops people from going out there dating or going up and approaching someone who they might find attractive in a certain scenario. And fear genuinely does, when you talk about it enough, fear is the foundation and the basis of absolutely everything we do. And I know that when I've been certainly observing children, like when Grace was doing her speech for me, kids have no fear. They have no fear. I mean, she was a little bit embarrassed about doing it for me at first, but I think back to other situations where I've watched children on ski holidays, for example, and these 2-year-olds, geared up in their little jackets and helmets, they go bombing down the ski slopes with no fear. So it just goes to show that it is something we learn. However, it's going to be a lot harder to unlearn fear than it is to simply reframe it. And this is where the second part of Grace's speech comes into play, which, again, pure genius. The opposite of fear. What's the opposite of fear? Love, if you think about it. If it wasn't for love, none of us would be here. Thank you, Adam and Eve. And I think when you reframe fear that you might have around anything, particularly if you're watching this video, I'm guessing that you've got dreams, goals, visions of a different life, different lifestyle, and perhaps it's fear that's holding you back from taking the action to pursue that, whether it might be a changing career or learning a new skill or quitting your job and doing something different with your life. It's probably fear that's holding you back. And if you reframe your fear into love, and that love has to be falling in love with a vision of your life and how you want it to look, you've got to be more in love with that than you are fearful of what it's going to take to get there. And when I look back at my own journey and the journey of a lot of the people that I'm connected to now in this online marketing / online business entrepreneurial world, everyone I know that's doing well is so much more in love with the vision of their life and the vision of their goals and what they want to achieve than they are fearful. The fear is still there, 100%, but they are far more in love with what they want their life to look like and where they're going. So I just thought I'd share that because I thought it was a genius insight that I personally haven't heard before. Maybe you have, but I certainly haven't heard it from an 8-year-old. So Grace, you're amazing. You're destined for great things. Thank you. I will be keeping your speech in my purse, and I look forward to you maybe delivering it on your own YouTube channel one day. Who knows? All I do know is that having listened to you is that the world will be a much better place if we let the kids run things. So that's me signing off. I'll see you in another video. Feel free to subscribe to the YouTube channel, find me on Facebook, find me on Instagram at Your Wi-Fi Life, and I will see you very soon. Take care.